Hey Nandani, how's it going? I have been watching anime ever since I was in about 7th or 8th grade, and this was when I knew what anime was. I'd actually go out, look for a specific anime, find it on an illegal website, and then watch it. But actually, I think I've been consuming Japanese media for pretty much as long as I can remember. The first time I had any kind of contact with Japan or even like anything about Japan was when I read this book. This is a book I was addicted to as a child. It just has, countries, different countries and what they do. So pretty much it's just like an encyclopedia of countries. And when I got to the Japanese section of this, right here, I was addicted to this. I used to read this shit every day before I went to sleep. This is what I read, and this was like, I would think I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, so I was like 7 or 8 years old when I was doing this. And I used to read that every night before I went to sleep, and I was obsessed with Japanese culture. And I think it's also because I was also influenced by watching it on TV. Of course, you had your Shin-chans, your Doraemons, who are very generic, pretty much everybody watched it. Again, it's also very stereotypically anime or Japanese. They ate with chopsticks, they lived in Japan, and they had Japanese names, Nobita, Jian, Shizuka, So I was bound to get into anime because I'd been just obsessed with Japan, obsessed with Japanese culture, and just unintentionally just consuming Japanese media, right? And in this list, I'm not going to put Doraemon or Shin-chan because, of course, they're very popular. But that movie, the Shin-chan movie, where he goes to that monkey island and there's a big Afro guy and Anpanman has to fight him. Peak movie of all time. Genuinely the best anime movie of all time. And also the Doraemon movie where he gets the dinosaur, that too. Peak movies. So yeah. In this video, we're going to be watching every single anime that I watched as a kid before I realized that they were anime. And I'm also going to be ranking them based on how much I enjoyed them as a kid, how much I even remember to this day, and also, based on your general vibe. That's it. Perman. This was my fix for Power Rangers. I was really addicted to Power Rangers as a kid. I think I pretty much saw all of them. The SPDs, the Wild, the Ninja, the Dino, and the Magic. So you get the point. Pretty much all the Power Rangers. All the Power Rangers, I saw all of them, and I loved it. And this was basically your everyday version of it. Our main lead, whose name is Mitsuo. He's your pretty average, generic, main character. Bad at school. He's super lazy. He has nothing going on in his life, and he has a crush on a girl. So this is your main character starter pack, right? And one day what he does is he meets Birdman. So it's this universe is basically like Superman. And Birdman gives him powers, and he gives him like his super suit, and he just takes him on as an apprentice. That's where it starts off in the first episode. To even get his superpowers, he has a small bib that he has to press, and then it expands into a super suit. It has 3 different parts to it. One is the helmet, which basically just hides his identity. That's it. It gives him nothing else. Even though it's only till here and you can still see his face, but it's Batman logic, yeah. And then he gets a cape. The cape lets him fly, and not just him. Pretty much anyone who wears the cape, they can fly. And then he also has a small badge here. It's shaped like a Pokemon badge, but this lets him long distance communicate with the other 3 superheroes, and also just breathe underwater. Like I said, there are other 3 superheroes. One is the big green fat guy. He never gets involved in the show, like not a lot, at least when I was watching, so I didn't remember anything about him. Second was the monkey. I remember he loved that monkey. I'm pretty sure I know its name. Booby? Booby. That's the fucking monkey's name, Booby. Now you know why I fucking love that monkey. But yeah, so its name was Booby, and him and Mitsuo, they were really good. He was just a pretty smart monkey, like a really smart monkey who loved bananas, and he would help out Mitsuo in terms of like if there was trouble, he'd just help out Mitsuo. But then there was another superhero. Her name was Tako, and she was the girl of this group. Turns out she's also, by day, a superstar. Her name was Sumire, and she was like basically like a Hollywood star in the show. And Mitsuo was obsessed with her, and he would simp over her like 24/7. But then Paco never reveals her identity, so Mitsuo doesn't know that Paco is whatever her name is. I'm getting confused with the names. But he doesn't know that Paco is the girl that he's simping over, and he just hates on Paco. And he wants to meet Sumire someday, but then he's every day with Paco. So you know what I mean? That's the conflict. But of course, Paco knows that he's obsessed with her, and then it's her just shying away and flying off. It's a good show. It's a generally like a good show to watch. It's just a happy show. There's nothing serious. And if you wanna just think about as a kid, just being a superhero with your friends, this is the best show to watch. So yeah, I'd give this a solid A, I think. It's good, it's up there. I don't think it's S, but it's A. It could reach S though, but I haven't watched the whole thing. I think it has like 500 episodes. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, but it's a solid A. I don't remember a lot about this show. All I remember, for this video, I just wanted to keep it fair. I didn't want to go back, just watch all of the episodes and then rank them based on that. Maybe I can do that in the future, but for now, I just wanted to keep it fair just based on what I remember. I just wanted to rank it based on that. And again, watching all of these, I think every show has like 500 episodes. I don't have time for that, you know? But yeah, so this show, I remember having a lot of fun with it. It obviously looked really old even when I was watching it. I could tell even as a kid that this is an older show. It was just about like a kid. I think it was basically like the son of Satan, I think, but not really, but like he was the son of the biggest devil, I think, and he also had so many like superpowers, but he was super young. So he'd have like a bunch of goons who were helping him. If I'm not wrong, there's a Frankenstein and there's like a cat. I don't remember exactly, but they're all there and they're all helping him to basically adjust in this new city. And they get their own house. They live in that house. And he also has like a Nobita-esque person that he takes care of. And this show was all around really enjoyable. But the thing is, I don't remember even one episode. Like I really tried. I don't want to go back, so I didn't look at anything, but I really sat down and I genuinely tried to remember the plot of at least one episode. I couldn't. Like nothing came back. So based on that, at least this just falls into a C. Now, have you ever thought what's gonna happen if Nobita from Doraemon was actually smart and not a dumb fucking idiot? You'd get Kiteretsu. The show was about like a guy who was really smart and also had a robot friend. So it's the exact opposite of Doraemon, but again, in this story, he had a manual which literally lets him build anything he wants as long as he's smart enough to build it. And yeah, that's the whole show. He could literally make anything he wants as long as he's smart enough to do it. So I think if I'm not wrong, in the later seasons, he does meet the guy who actually wrote the manual. I think he builds a time machine and then goes back to him. And I don't remember the whole thing, but I'm pretty sure that happens in the show. And they do have their Gions, their Sunios, and their Shizukas, but they're actually pretty chill with each other. They're not as mean as they're in Doraemon, but they're actually super nice to each other. They're all really chill. And honestly, I only have good memories from this show, even though ask me one thing about the show and I can't remember, because of course you asked me Doraemon, which is my favorite, invention. It's not the anywhere door. It's not the fucking time machine. It's the big fucking the torch thing. I'm 165 centimeters, so what else do you expect me to say? It's the big torch thing, man. You know? But yeah, so I don't remember any particular episodes where something happened, but it was always just a fun experience. So this would definitely be A. LuckyMan. I fucking love this show. It's about this guy who essentially is the most unluckiest guy in the whole world. Nothing ever works out for him, and no matter what he's trying to do, it just never works, right? And what happens is he gets this thing called a lucky star. It's just basically like a biscuit that he eats, and as soon as he eats it, he becomes a lucky man. And this is Saitama before, Saitama from One Punch Man, right? He basically becomes the luckiest superhero in the whole world. and he's not super strong, he's not super smart, he's not super strong, he's not like, you know, any of those things. He's just stupidly lucky, and that's the whole show. But the thing is, because the it's such a parody of an actual, like, of course, right, it's a parody of like a superhero genre where you get like superpowers and everything, but the writing of the show is genuinely really good. You have so many good characters, and you also, it's just really funny for a kids show. And again, because it's a parody, you have these like incredibly funny characters and with really like really sad backstories. This is one of the characters, and when he's introduced for the first time, you fucking hate this guy because he seems like the most cocky and you could never get along with him type of guy, right? But then as it slowly progresses, you find out that he's actually really poor, and he's doing this for his siblings, and you're like, you know what, maybe I hated him too much, maybe I was wrong, you know? And it's just genuinely such a good show. And later in the show, he gets a dog called a Lucky Dog, which also eats, you know, the fucking Lucky Star, and it can talk and shit. And again, the writing is amazing. How just like how Kusuo, I think the guy's name, how he, you know, has a crush on this girl. But then there's this other girl who's supposed to be really ugly, but then she loves him, but then he always ignores her. But then the girl who he's supposed to like never likes him back. And how his mom is basically super, like, she believes in superstitions, and she's very like, you know, like that kind of mindset. But then the son is just super unlucky, right? And she's a hot mom too. If you know, you know. If you know, Kuso's mom is super hot. But yeah, this I don't want to get too into like what the story is and what happens in the story. If you wanted to know, there is like a tournament arc later in the story, like towards the end, where all of these superheroes fight aliens from other worlds. So it's a crazy show, right? I want to make a whole video about this, about the whole show, so I'm not gonna get too much into detail. But I fucking love this show, man. If you it's crazy that literally no one I speak to knows about this show. Like nobody. Ninja Hattori. What do y'all know about Ninja Hattori, huh? Ninja Hattori was my favorite thing to watch as a kid. It was my go-to thing to watch as a kid. I would come back from school, first thing I put on is fucking Ninja Hattori, man. Y'all do the Naruto run? Real fucking anime fans do the Hattori run. I'm pretty sure Hattori invented the Naruto run, and Naruto just copied his swag, man, and they just made it popular. I think it was, I don't think that's how it goes, but you know what I mean? Like, the story is about Ninja Hattori, who's a ninja, of course, from the East Ninja Village, and he's here to the normal folks, the normal town, with his brother, and he's teaching his brother how to be a better ninja. Of course, Ninja Hattori can teach that because this motherfucker has a ninja technique for literally everything. Anything you can think of, he has a ninja technique for that. So this is an amazing show to watch. I love this show as a kid. He also has a nemesis, or a rival, or an enemy, you could say, who is from the West Ninja Village. And he also has a cat, and he's here to sabotage anything the Hattori does, right? But turns out, after a heart-to-heart with him, they become best friends. He changes him. They all become good, just nice people. He has a brother. He has a dog. He even has a girlfriend who comes and visits him once or twice. So it's just a chill, super fun anime. It's really close to my heart because me and my sister watch this a lot, and I have so many fun memories with it. So it's an S. It's gotta be an S. I'm sorry, it's an S. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember shit about this show. Like, the only thing I even remember about this show is that it was about a baby who went, baby, baby. That's it. That's all I remember. And I think it was in the same vein as Shin-chan or Doraemon, where it was about, you know, a kid with a lot of superpowers, and he's just trying to help his brother out. I think that's where it ended, right? I don't even remember half the show, so there's no point in even like thinking about it and ranking it. So if you ask me, this show easily falls in C because I'm sure it was amazing, but I just don't remember it. It was so forgettable. Now you're gonna start seeing a pattern here where I'm just gonna start putting the anime that I don't remember a lot about towards the end of the video, right? Anpanman was super popular when I was a kid. So the story was basically about a scientist who was also a baker, I think, and he makes this superhero who can basically, who's basically immortal, and then who has a bread head, right? And he can gives away chunks of it to other people. So if they're, if the person is really sick or if the person is really wounded, he can give them, they're healed immediately. So that was the whole thing. He was basically like immortal, like he couldn't die, but as long as they replaced his head. So this was extremely popular, and I remember watching a lot of these episodes. I think I used to sit down and watch pretty much all of it. And if I do remember right, I think towards the end of every episode, he would have given away 2 chunks, or even the third one, and then he's about to die, and then the scientists come back, and then they give him the new head, and then he defeats the monster. So I think this was an extremely good show. I had a lot of fun watching this, and I think even now it's super popular among the K-pop fans, if I'm not wrong, right? Yeah, and considering all this, I think this was definitely a solid A. Gon The StoneAge Boy. Ooh, this was the shit back in the day, man. Life was good when this shit was airing on TV. If you, like the name says, it's about Gon, who's a Stone Age boy, lived back in the Stone Age, and he wouldn't speak. I don't think language was invented yet, or I don't even remember if he spoke. But the thing is, he used to eat meat that was also mammoth's meat, and it would be as big as the table, and him and his dad would hunt for that. I remember his dad taught him hunting and shit, but then he would die, like, a lot, but not really. Like, he wouldn't really die, he'd just get close to dying. And yeah, it was just such a fun experience. Also remember, he had a girlfriend. I mean, not really a girlfriend, he was too young, but he had a girl that he liked, and they were kind of getting along too. And yeah, he had a mom, he had a dad, and dad would teach him hunting, and they lived in a rock, and he also had a friend. It was just a thing. I don't think it was supposed to be a specific animal, right? I don't think it was supposed to be like a chimpanzee or like a monkey. It ate a lot of bananas, I remember that much, but I don't think it was supposed to be a specific animal. So overall, this was just an amazing show to watch. I remember loving the show a lot. If you really ask me, I don't remember what happens in a specific episode. That's why I have to bump it down a number. But it's still like an amazing show. It's probably like a strong B, or even like a light A. Like it's kind of up there for me, at least. I really loved this show as a kid. Oh, if you ask like an 8-year-old me why I wanted a cycle so bad, it was because of this TV show that I saw online called Idaten Jump. Right, it was about this guy who had a red cycle, which I also had a red cycle, by the way. I'll try to find a picture, but that's the reason I wanted a red cycle. But this show really got me into cycling. I was obsessed with cycling because of the show. But then he also did the thing where he said Flame Kaiser or Flame Rider. I don't remember. I used to do that shit a lot. I remember that much. But okay, let's get back to the story. It's about a kid who has a cycle called the Flame Kaisen. I'm not really, I don't remember it a whole lot, but he gets into a cycling race to find his dad, who's supposed to be missing, but then turns out, massive twist, his dad is actually the guy who's on the cycle X, but this cycle controls your mind, so his dad doesn't even remember him. And this is just an amazing show. I remember this is such a fun show to watch. But the thing is, it came really late on TV. Like I think it was like after 8, and I was studying by then, so I didn't catch a lot of episodes. But I still remember it was an amazing show. I remember in the middle his cycle breaks, if I'm not wrong, right? And then he moves over to another cycle because this is getting fixed, like the red one. He moves over to a white cycle, and this one has a power of a tiger, while the red one had power of flames. And they also had a suit up scene where they suited up fully, but then it was all CGI. It was because it was back then. This is basically Beyblades for cycles, and every single cycle had a superpower. They had a badge which gave them that superpower. Without the badge, you couldn't access the powers. It was just a boy's dream, right? You want to cycle with superpowers, and I used to think of myself as the guy. I don't even remember his name, but as the guy from the show, and try to go around with my cycle. It was such a fun experience. Again, I don't remember a lot of it.
it has to be a B, because even though it was an amazing show, I only watched a couple of episodes, not fully, because it came so late on TV, and I was already either asleep or studying by then. So, this is an amazing show, but this has to be a B.
This is the last show I have on here. It's called The Mighty Cat Masked Niyander. I think it's about a cat, and he gets superpowers, and he protects the city. Again, I do have a lot of these random guy gets superpowers and protects the city, huh? But it's a show that I remember I really loved. I loved watching every episode of it, and the costume change scene, it's still in my head. Like, I can never forget that costume change scene. But on a whole, I don't remember a lot about this show. I know he had a crush on this white cat that he wanted to impress, and he loved that fucking pole that he used to say in the middle of the city where he used to like look at the city with. Those are the two things that I remember about this show. From what I can remember, it seems like a pretty good show, but I don't remember most of it, and it's in the same vein as Ultra B, right? I remember watching it, like I have faint memories of watching the show, but not really in a way where you're like, okay, that's I'm gonna remember this forever, like LuckyMan or Perman or any of those shows, like Ninja Hattori. It's nothing like that. So I think this would be like a C. I would give it a B, but then I don't even remember half the character. I don't even remember the cat's name. I think it was Niyander based on the title, right? So maybe a C, and I don't. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a C at best.